Today is only about pretty music. So in about 5 minutes, I'm probably actually going to play that for the Mhm.
I'm gonna send so you know, I'm gonna send an email to my friend Sharon.
Greetings, friends, and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Society of Albany's Sunday service. My name is Jacob King, and I am the ministerial intern for this congregation. I use he, him, his pronouns. We have a wonderful experience planned for you today, which I hope you will enjoy. I imagine it has been a busy week for many of us here, family to visit, friends to gather with, and thanks to be had. But we also recognize there were many among us who, for various reasons, often outside their control, may have been unable to fully participate in festivities. Whomever you may be, know we keep you in our hearts. Our message for today will be on what doesn't change about being human. Considering there are now 8 billion of us sharing this world is a fairly crucial question to examine. Let us embrace a moment of serenity as we conduct our chalice lighting. All right. Oh, maybe. Well, if you have these doodads, we will read from there and hope that the Zoom folks can see us. Oh, there we go. Let us begin. Welcoming all free seekers of truth and meaning, we gather to excite the human spirit, to inspire its growth and development, to respond morally and ethically to a troubled world, and to sustain a vital and nurturing religious community. Thank you. We take a moment to welcome our Facebook viewers, wherever you are in body and spirit. We hope you enjoy this next portion of our service. As you can see from the pamphlet, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. This is something Olga and I designed. The first part will be a series of simple stretches to prepare our mind, bodies, and spirits. You may participate sitting down as you are physically able. So you guys are ready to go, Capital Fried Singers. Like, no. Yeah, I will not be making you stand for this one. So as I said, as you are physically able, we will do 3 brief stretches to prepare our minds, bodies, and spirits to receive our message for today. To start, first, slowly lift your arms upwards, going as high as is most comfortable for you. Feel the tension release in your shoulders and arms. Wiggle a little bit. There we go. Slowly return your arms to your side, placing them where that feels most natural for you. Next, slowly rotate your ankles, going clockwise, counterclockwise, up and down, left to right. Feel the tension release in your lower extremities. When you are ready, gently place your feet on the floor, grounding yourself. Next, slowly lean your head to one side and the other, carefully mindful not to strain yourself. You can lean left, lean right. Don't stretch your larynx. That's what Olga told me. When you are ready, return your head to a natural, neutral position for you. Now let us turn our attention to our music director, Olga Martinez. What doesn't change about being human? Throughout Alan Watts's life, a key theme was his love for humanity. A lot of philosophers at that time were struggling with humanity in a sense, its existence. Why are we here? Whereas we heard from Alan Watts, sometimes we don't have that answer of why we're here or where we're going, but that there's still something that binds us together, some semblance that keeps us whole, that keeps us united, that keeps us flowing towards some long-lasting goal. So considering there are now 8 billion of us and we've been on this planet in our current form for about 40,000 years, the evolutionaries in the audience would probably know more than me, but that's perfectly fine. And so what doesn't change? Well, we physically changed. Obviously, we've evolved over the course of many years. My generation are being born without wisdom teeth in some senses because we keep pulling them out so much that our bodies are just stop growing them. So let's examine this. The first one, we'll look at what doesn't change: love. Aww. That word that defines us. I think Reverend retired Tom Chulek, when he was here a couple months ago, ascribed that word to, we were wanting to do 1 or 2 words to describe Unitarian Universalism: freedom and love coming together. Love is almost hardwired into our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. Yes, anyone that can look back at history has seen there's definitely been examples where love did not prevail. But overall, societies, we gather together, we work towards something. All of that is love. We love our families, we love our pets, we love our children, we love our loved ones. We also choose to love. We can choose to love something, and it's just been part of our experience for all of human history. I mean, some of the earliest human manuscripts, earliest stories all center around this theme of love. In the Hebrew Tanakh and the Christian Old Testament, God, G-D, breathes in life into humanity. That breath of life is love. But it is a constant struggle. It's not to say that it's easy or something that just comes naturally to us. It is a conscious effort that we are agreeing to do. This one is relevant to our most recent experiences. If any of you went to vote, factionalism. Factionalism was defined as groups dividing together, working towards a specific goal, or coming from a specific set of ideas. It's an integral part of the human experience. We can see that in our most recent example. As I said, we had the elections, and yes, there are numerous political parties in the US, but there are 2 major ones that most people either ascribe or don't ascribe to. But factionalism isn't necessarily a negative thing. All of us have such great things to offer this world, our community, and we come from different backgrounds, different experiences. You guys are pretty easy to pick out as factionalism because of the brightly colored clothing. But among this audience, we have doctors, physicians, paralegals, retirees, people coming into life, youth that are going to lead our future. We all have such different things to offer. And we, as a species, naturally ascribe to that theory of working towards something specific, going into a profession. Our minds, while beautiful and vibrant and the product of millions of years of evolution, are still subject to limitations. It's not to say that in our modern world that we're specifically limited to doing one thing or one task, but finding community, finding those we identify with, and still keeping those in our hearts who we don't identify with, keeping our love for them, but finding that sense of community. That's what our species has done best. It's what has caused us to grow, and it's what's caused us to create wonders of this world and many wonders more to come. What about faith? It's such a limited word because when we hear it in our modern context, sometimes it can be purely limited to one of the 7 world faith traditions. Obviously, we know there's more than that, but those are there's 7 main popular ones, but there's many more. Faith overcomes mere scripture or mere left and right limits, if you will. Faith is actually hardwired in some cases into our brains. Studies show not just any specific spiritual practice, but spiritual practices in general, whatever that may mean for that individual, engages areas within the brain that react generally positively towards it. Even music is sometimes considered a spiritual practice, and it also engages the heart, mind, body, and spirit. This concept of faith, key religions have changed over time. Our own faith tradition, Unitarian Universalism, has changed so much vastly in the last 50 years and is still continuing to change, grow, and evolve. But that question of what is faith, I view it as our most eternal question, the question that we as a faith tradition are still seeking. What is our place in the universe? Alan Watts has the mindset that sometimes we don't need to answer it, but for many of us, we still seek that truth. We still seek that meaning. What makes us here? What makes us whole? Where are we going? That is faith. That is timeless. That is beauty, love. Words cannot purely describe that sense of awe that our ancestors long ago, staring up at the cosmos, wondering why they're here, and that question that many of us today are still wrestling with, and whatever that may be for you. So if love doesn't change, and factionalism doesn't change, and faith as we know it doesn't change, what's that leave us with? What does change? Unfortunately, fortunately, what does change is hope. Hope is not an infinite resource. You can take this chalice, for example. Yes, in our tradition, the chalice flame that represents Unitarian Universalism is always burning inside, but physically, this chalice is finite at the moment in its current state. We got to light it. We have to maintain it. We have to sustain it. We have to kindle it. Make sure nothing nearby extinguishes it. It's just like hope. Hope is one of humanity's greatest aspects that separates us from others among our planet. Hope is what led our species to gather together. Hope is what led our species to grow, to build community, to change our world, to change our planet, to strive to answer that question we identified earlier of what our place is in the universe. But when I say it's finite, studies have shown recently, especially among the Gen Z generation, many are living without hope. Just imagine that for a moment. Like, this is an anonymous survey question. They're not getting paid. There's no right or wrong answer. And they are willingly answering from their heart, minds, bodies, and spirit at their current place and time that they are living without hope, living in a state without hope. I had a former Army chaplain used to start all of his meetings that you can live 40 days without food, 10 days without water, can't live 10 seconds without hope. But much like this chalice flame, we light this chalice. I think I had in the sermon last week that the light is always there. The darkness does not overcome the light. This is merely a symbol of our faith community, a symbol of what's in our hearts. But like I said, in our hearts, we continue to strive after that question of why we're here. And we are hopeful for the future. Being a member of the Gen Z community, I can speak personally, it's sometimes difficult when you see the news that by 2100, the current environmental ecological collapse might reach its zenith. It's hard to imagine that the social security that many of us Gen Z are paying into may not ever get to fully experience. The world and future we went to school for is no longer within our grasp. But when we're looking at change, what change is, Alan Watts made the joke that change is sometimes too much. But fortunately, that's what we are. If we're going to ascribe to the belief that there is a future, hope is that grounding belief. Because if we don't have hope in the future, if we don't believe there is a future, that doesn't allow us to live in the present. That doesn't allow us to gather here. It doesn't allow us to do the great things this beloved community is continuing to do. Hope. I will leave us with a quote from Alan Watts that I think is fitting for this. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join in the dance. We will now transition back to our music director, Olga Martinez. Minds, bodies, and spirits to close our message for today as we transition into the next part of our service. Just like last time, you may participate sitting down as you're able. You'll be doing 3 brief stretches, all in accordance with the goals of self-care and loving ourselves. First, slowly lift your shoulders upwards, rotating them back and forth. Be mindful of releasing any tension you may be experiencing. Next, slowly reach down, massage your lower extremities, your calves, your ankles, mindful of any areas which may be sore from sitting. Next, slowly reach up to the back of your neck, gently massaging both sides, the left side and the right side. If you're experiencing any discomfort in your cranium, you may also massage the top of your head and the back of your head. Light, gentle, remembering to love yourself in this experience. When you're ready, you may return your head to a natural position for you. Now, we will transition to our second part of our service, beginning by saying goodbye to our friends and visitors who joined us today on Facebook. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dawn Dana, and I'm the service associate today. Before I introduce the offering, we need to know that with the exception of OWL for grades 8 and 9, Sunday morning programming for children and youth ends at 11:15. If you have children in pre-K through 5th grade, please pick them up from room 2425 at that time. Older kids will be released on their own at 11:15 to reconnect with their grown-ups. Please feel free to leave the service when it's time to pick up your children. An important way we celebrate life each Sunday is by offering an opportunity to practice generosity. Members and friends support our congregation with an annual pledge paid throughout the year. Another way to support the good work of this congregation is by making a generous contribution as we pass the plate, or via one of the options shown on this next slide. If you are joining us virtually, you can click on the tiny URL link in the chat window to contribute, or you can send a text to the number shown on the screen. The options or the examples on the slide show how to label your text to indicate the amount and purpose of your gift.
Our offertory today is a song that we sang.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Babila, and I'm available as Pastoral Care Associate today. This is the time set aside in our service for sharing significant personal milestones in our lives. There are several ways to share a joy or sorrow. On Zoom, you can click on the raised hand symbol. The technicians will call on you to unmute and share your joy or sorrow. Those in Community Hall here be able to come forward and select a stone to place in the bowl on the table. If you wish, you can share your joy or sorrow at the microphone. Please also consider sharing your sorrow after the service with myself. I'll be hanging around for a while. I know that there are no items that were previously submitted this week. So then we'll follow by the spoken joys and sorrows on Zoom and finishing with any joys or sorrows to be shared from Community Hall. Anyone on Zoom?
So far, we have no raised hands on Zoom.
Okay. So those wishing to move a stone are now invited to come forward. If you wish to speak your joy or sorrow, you can wait with Chuck at the microphone. Come on forward.
Hi, everyone. I'm AJ. I just wanted to share my joy is that I'm here. I had an unexpected medical crisis, and so I'm very thankful that I survived that, and I'm here for a little bit more. And then my sorrow is just the change that comes with that and electing to move my medical care into a hospice model at this point. So change.
I'm Michael Bronstein, and my joy is I have a friend who is across the country going through a hard time, and sometimes it's so easy just to give a few text messages or a phone call through the day, and you can make all the difference in another person's life.
Morning, I'm Dave Stone, and Sandy, my wife, and I have donated the flowers for today. There's a little notice in the program that mentions long-lasting love. Wednesday, we celebrated our 49th wedding anniversary, and we have been members in this community, these folks, for 42 years.
I'm Steve Moskowitz. My mother, who is within the merest hair of being 100, has transitioned from assisted living to skilled nursing facility, and we're finishing the move today.
As I select a stone on behalf of those joys and sorrows that are left unspoken, let us hold all that we've heard and felt in our hearts.
I ask if you are willing and able to join me in a prayer, meditation, or reflection, whichever term is most comfortable for you. Spirit of love, Spirit divine, we thank you so much for allowing us to gather here together today. We are so grateful for this beloved community and for us to share this space, these joys and sorrows. We recognize many sorrows today, many spoken, many unsaid. We recognize the fear, the worry that comes in with change. Change is difficult. Change can sometimes be dreadful, especially when it revolves around medical care decisions. We, the congregation, this faith community, hold these sorrows in our mind, our bodies, our spirits, and our hearts, and trust the times, the winds of change will carry them into wherever they must go. We also recognize many joys to be had this week. We recognize people still able to attend despite potential medical difficulties or challenges. We recognize the value of friends and the check-ins they provide. Even if they don't realize the impact it has on us, sometimes those check-ins come when we need them most. We recognize wonderful wedding anniversaries and time in this beloved community. And we also recognize moving into new living facilities, which is also a change. We, the congregation, embrace these joys and sorrows together. May it be so.
We'd like to get to know guests and visitors to our service. If you'd like to tell us who you are and where you're from, those here in Community Hall should stand or raise your hand. The usher will bring you a microphone so that everyone can hear you. Those joining us on Zoom can click on the raise hand symbol. Our technician will invite you to unmute and introduce yourself. You can also click on the visitor link you'll find now in the chat window.
We have one raised hand on Zoom. Aaron, if you could unmute.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I'm visiting from Arkansas.
Have anyone here in the hall who'd like to introduce themselves?
I am Karen Kaufman, and I'm very happy that my dear friend Carol Nemore has joined us this morning. This is her first time here, so if you have a chance, just say hello.
Welcome. Thank you and welcome to all who have joined us today. If you'd like to learn more about our congregation or Unitarian Universalism, you can stop by the table in the lobby and speak with Barb Manning, our welcome table host. On Zoom, you can find in the participant window someone with welcome before their name. You can reach out to that person in the chat window. There will also be opportunities to socialize and welcome newcomers after the service, both for those on Zoom and those here in Community Hall. It appears that we have no submitted announcements today, but I draw your attention to the announcements that are printed in the order of service and on the slide on Zoom. Our closing words are "Fitted for this day" by Kimberly Quinn Johnson. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for.
Our closing song for today comes with special guests, the Capitol Pride Singers, as they line up here.
It fits the message, right? But we gotta kindle, and that was a phenomenal song for kindling hope. All right. We'll say this symbolically about extinguishing the flame inside. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. May it be so.
Those on Zoom are encouraged to join a breakout room for conversation and fellowship. You can click to accept the breakout room assignment when it appears on your screen. Those in Community Hall are invited to attend coffee hour in Channing Hall. We especially encourage guests and visitors to join us for coffee and refreshments. Anyone on Zoom or in Community Hall is welcome to attend a congregational response to discuss the service topic. You can stay in this same Zoom meeting or right here in Community Hall, and the discussion will begin in a few minutes. Those wishing to socialize with others are asked to exit Community Hall so that the congregational response can start promptly. We're glad you joined us today. This concludes our service.